This is hands down the best gaming PC that I've ever built. I honestly just can't stop looking at it, but this thing is also more than just a gaming PC to me. Let me explain. Hey, welcome to Zach's Tech Turf. Now, before we start this video, just want to be upfront with you guys. This is not just another YouTuber's baller gaming PC build that's completely sponsored or any of that nonsense, but rather this gaming PC represents a lot of emotions and a ton of hard work, and it also represents how far the ZTT channel has come, and I just want to show you what's all inside, and we're going to benchmark it and whatnot, but before that, a word from today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by GVGMall, an online key reseller with our favorite Windows 10 Pro keys. If you're looking to remove that nasty Windows 10 unactivated watermark on your latest gaming PC, head on down to the links in the description. Here you'll find a Windows 10 Pro OEM key for under 17 bucks, but we want it cheaper than that. Select buy now and enter the discount code ZTT18 for an exclusive 18% off discount, which drops the price down to just 13 bucks. Go through the rest of the purchasing options. I'd recommend PayPal, and within a minute or so, you'll get your Windows 10 Pro key. Now on your PC, click start and type in activation and press enter, choose change product key, paste in your new key, and bang, Windows 10 is now activated. This is my personal way of activating my PCs. Check out my purchased order history here, so grab a Windows 10 key for yourself with the link in the description using discount code ZTT18. Before jumping straight into the parts list, I just want to give you all a reminder that I stream the building process of every gaming PC that you see on this channel over on twitch.tv/ZachsTechTurf, so make sure you follow me over there. And while you're at it, if you're not already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn notifications on here on YouTube. That way you don't miss any videos. Starting with the CPU, we absolutely gotta tip our hats off here to Micro Center for sending out this Ryzen 9 3900X, which you probably already know by now is a super beefy 12-core and 12-threaded processor with a base clock of 3.8 GHz and a max boost clock of 4.6 GHz. Now remember that the max boost clock is a best case scenario and with a single thread. With my current setup here in multi-threaded applications, I'm seeing a stable 4.1 GHz clock, and that's with everything turned to stock settings. The 3900X is by far the most powerful and capable CPU that I've personally owned, and I think it's fun to do a little bit of a reflection on the channel and think about getting to the point where companies are sending this high of end products to help make these videos. It wasn't that long ago that I was reviewing tablets with my 4790K system behind me and using an iPhone earbuds microphone. Shout out to maybe the 1 or 2 of you that remember that video. Now don't get me wrong, ZTT is nowhere close to where I know it's capable of going, but just right here and right now, I just want to say that I'm super thankful for all of you for watching my videos and sharing my videos. That way really cool companies like Micro Center want to send products to help with these videos. Micro Center is hands down my favorite physical store for anything PC hardware related. I'm like a kid in a candy store every time I go, and they have just an absolute ton of deals to be had there. I personally always take advantage of their signature CPU and motherboard combo deals, but they're also starting up a really cool build of the month program that I wanted to quickly share with you guys. Here you can see that for the July competition, you actually only have a few days left to enter, but there will be one in August as well, so don't worry about that. This is for people like us to send in pictures of our builds and show off our custom PC build spec sheets with all the parts, and then the winners will get a $500 Micro Center gift card. All of the instructions are linked down in the description, and be sure to let me know if you submitted your build for the month. Getting back to our parts list for this build though, everything is linked down in the description by the way. Next up we have the motherboard, and because of our case selection, I wanted to go with the Micro ATX board, and this is the ASRock X570M Pro 4, which is literally only one of 2 options that are available for Micro ATX X570. This Pro 4 model packs everything that I need, including good VRMs for the 3900X, so that worked out quite well. The color scheme also keeps us on target for the most part with our white, red, and black color scheme, and yeah, it was either this or the BioStar X570 GT, so thanks to ASRock for sending this one out. Next up in the very long list of Corsair sponsored products is the RAM, and this is, as you guys already know by now, my absolute #1 best looking RAM on the market, the Corsair Dominator Platinum RGB, specifically this white 4x8GB kit, which is clocked at 3600 MHz. These DIMMs are absolutely gorgeous in this build, and the RGBs can be completely controlled through the Corsair's iQ software. Next up from Corsair is the first SSD. This is a 1TB MP600, which I'm super happy I finally got my hands on. This is one of only a few PCIe Gen 4 options on the market right now, and this is the first time that I'm personally going to be using a Gen 4 drive for my my day-to-day operations. Mine personally rock these ridiculously fast read and write speeds, and I'm so excited to start editing videos with this paired with the 3900X. I do also have a 2.5-inch Samsung 860 1TB SSD that I pulled from my last PC that will be used as a game drive, and with the motherboard I do have room for another M.2 drive if I want to in the future. Sticking with the Corsair theme though, they also sent out the power supply. This is the white RMX 750, which is gold certified and rated at the highest tier A on the LTT tier list. I'm actually not taking advantage of how baller these all white sleeved cables look, and that's because of these custom white, red, and black cable extensions that I'm using from Up Here, which cost $30 on Amazon. Another aesthetic only option were these fans, and these are the Corsair QL140s, and I have 4 of them in here, 2 in the front for intake and then 2 in the rear on the AIO as exhaust. The QL140s are absolutely beautiful. There's a ton of individual control that you can use despite me choosing just to leave them all white. They're super quiet, and these white models just look so clean inside this case. And speaking of which, the last product that Corsair graciously sent over was this case, and this is the Crystal 280X, and I've actually used this before with the all black version, which you can check out in this video up here. And at this point here in 2020, this is seriously one of my favorite options for a case. I'm definitely a fan of just the overall aesthetics of this smaller case. There's a ton of glass everywhere, aggressive lines up at the front for the intake, but my favorite part about it is the dual chamber design. Behind this main chamber where you can see everything is the smaller chamber, and that's where the power supply, 2.5-inch and 3.5-inch hard drive caddies are. But what I'm more interested in is how it's completely invisible, which means I can hide a lot of cables back there. On the Twitch live stream of me assembling this PC, I fully stated that this case removes any sort of motivation to properly cable manage this build. I also swap parts in and out regularly, so that's another reason. But yeah, there's just an absolute ton of room back here for your cables and so many activities. Moving away from the Corsair parts, we can't forget about NZXT hooking us up with the AIO. This is the Kraken Z63, which I've been trying to get into a proper build guide for a while now. The Z63 is the 280mm option. I really wish they had a smaller 240 and 120 option, by the way. And I think everyone knows about this AIO already because of the customizable LCD screen on the pump. I honestly can't decide if I want to stick with my ZTT logo like you've been seeing or switch over to these GPU and CPU temperatures, but the possibilities are absolutely endless, and there's even a chance that I just keep it as a picture of my son Antonio. With the LCD screen aside, this is still a super powerful and cool AIO water cooler, which is definitely recommended for a 3900X, and you can completely control it through the NZXT cam software, which has actually been improving a lot over like the last year or so. And finally, the very last part in this ridiculous parts list is the GPU. This is recycled from my previous build, which you may recognize. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my beloved MSI Duke RTX 2080Ti. Now don't get me wrong, this MSI Duke version certainly isn't the best meta decision, as there are better options out there such as the Zotac Gaming or Asus ROG Strix models, but I actually purchased this the second the 2080Ti's were launched, and everything sold out super quickly and there weren't a lot of options available to me at this time. I'm 100% definitely a fan of the aesthetics of this 2080Ti though, with the black and white backplate and the controllable RGB light up at the front, however, and this paired with my 3900X is absolutely a nasty combination of power. With all that being said, here's what the final parts list is looking like, and as you can see, this is certainly a baller gaming PC that can definitely handle the extras of my personal workflow such as streaming and editing videos. I'm honestly not sure how much of you care about the non-gaming benchmarks, but since I don't think a lot of you care, I'm only running those for our benchmarking section, but be sure to let me know if you guys want to see something like streaming, video editing, or compiling benchmarks in future videos. The first game up was Fortnite, and I decided to put the settings at 1440p Pro settings, aka low but with far view distance. I doubt anyone on the planet plays this game like this, but I'm not going to play it at 1080p Pro settings on my 1440p monitor, so that's why I chose these. With these settings, I got an FPS average of 276. Next up was Rainbow Six Siege, and with the built-in benchmarking tool in 1440p and ultra settings, I got a stupid high FPS average of 312. Getting into a bit tougher to run graphically demanding games, I fired up Borderlands 3, and with the built-in benchmarking tool in 1440p and ultra settings, I got 83 FPS. Next up was Far Cry New Dawn. I actually ran a poll about which games you were all playing over the last month and was very surprised at all the Far Cry comments, so I decided to add it back into the benchmarking section, and in 1440p and ultra settings, I got 101 frames per second. The second game that I added because of that poll was Assassin's Creed Odyssey. This one is incredibly CPU demanding, so I wanted to push the 3900X with it, and in 1440p ultra settings, I got 70 FPS. Following that was The Division 2. This is actually the game that I've been playing the most lately, which you know is like 90 minutes per week, and in 1440p ultra, I got 91 FPS. Monster Hunter World was up next, another CPU demanding title, and in 1440p with the highest settings, I got a solid FPS average of 92. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds was next, kept the settings at 1440p and Ultra, and here I still managed to crank above our 144 FPS target mark with 148. And finally, by far the most popular game that you guys said you were playing was Call of Duty Warzone. No surprises there, to be honest, and in 1440p with the max settings, I got an FPS average of 147. So clearly, as you can see, this system can handle any game you throw at it in 1440p. To be honest, this is definitely more of a 4K gaming rig, but my current gaming monitor is the MSI Mag 272CQR, which I fully did a review on, by the way, and that monitor is 1440p at 165 Hz, so that's what I tailored the benchmarks to. And finally, before wrapping up this video, I just want to thank all of you again for the support. Having this high of an MPC now representing the ZTT channel is a big statement in my opinion, and I definitely can't wait to start live streaming off this thing, twitch.tv/ZachsTechTurf, by the way, every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. I hope you enjoyed this video.